I didn't buy it.
Is it for sale?
No, it just sold on Cars and Bits. It's going to its new owner very shortly, but we had to get it through smog as there were some issues with that. So I just took it up to a Ferrari shop in North County. I'm on my way back to the shop. Yes, GP Auto Works, amazing mechanics. And so I wanted to come by and show it to Ryan real quick before it goes back to the office and then off to its new owner.
Where's it going?
It's staying in California. I'm not exactly sure where it's going, but very lucky guy who got it for a very good number. About his miles on it, and this color combination is questionable.
50,000 miles. It's a silver exterior with the two-tone gray and I don't know what you call this, like terracotta.
Yeah, it's darker than, I think it's darker than Koyo, but it might just be Koyo. I'm not exactly sure.
I think it's more orange.
It's a lovely car and just drives tremendously.
355 key.
Yep, F355 key.
Probably a lot of stuff.
Yeah, a lot of stuff in this car, but it's just magnificent. I had to share it with you.
If everybody had an ocean across the USA.
Signature on a piece of art.
So you'll have one.
Yeah.
If
definitely.
things go well, I'll have one. This is it. It's Ferrari's equivalent of the M5. A lot of power. It's not the showiest Ferrari, but man.
But that's the point.
And that's the point. Yeah.
It
just looks.
Only says 550 Barchetta in one place, and that's on the inside. It says it nowhere on the outside. All you have is the prancing horse, the Ferrari badge. That's it. And this one has factory shields, which I personally don't want
need.
because I just think it just is about subtlety. But my God, what a car!
50K on it too. Drives like new.
And it drives better than the 10,000 mile one I drove.
And you can still get parts, flywheels.
Yeah,
and
there's still parts around. So they made quite a few.
brakes are generic. They're probably Brembos.
Yeah, I believe so.
Just buy some rotors.
But rarer than a 300 SL. That's kind of one of the weird things about it.
Okay, Friday. Not too much different than yesterday. Today sucked ass. But we're home. It's the weekend. We get a couple of days of not having to go to Escondido now, which is good news. So we've got a Monaco Blue 08 E60 M5 in here that has been with us for far too long. This has been one of the more challenging conversion projects we've taken on because of all the issues we had. We had both ionic modules go out. We had a bad E9X M3 transmission that had a bad input bearing, and you can't replace the input bearing, so we had to order one from Germany, wait a month for it, put it in. We still had an issue. We replaced the front wheel bearing, still had an issue. Then the rear main seal was leaking. That came out yesterday, got replaced. Now, I can't see under it, so I don't know if the new rear main is leaking. Hopefully not. We made some adjustments to how that was installed. But we still have a bit of a whirring noise that I'm not going to ignore and gloss over and pretend that I don't hear. I hear it. My 30-year-old ears can hear it. My dad doesn't hear it. I don't think Alan hears it. It's very high-pitched. It's one of those noises that you drive it for a minute and you're like, yeah, there's like something going on. You press the clutch in, it makes no difference. It's speed dependent. I did the CSB again. The drive shaft is new anyways. We've done wheel bearings. I mean, it could be the rear bearings, could just be the differential making some noise. It does sound like it's over my left shoulder as I drive. So that could be either that bearing. I don't think an axle CV is gonna make noise, but certainly a differential could. If you're over 40 or 50, you probably don't hear 18,000 hertz anymore. This isn't 18,000, this might be 15,000 hertz. It's up there. And it's something that without the radio on and the AC on low and the windows up, and this thing has stock exhaust on it, so it's nice and quiet. You drive on the highway for 30 minutes and then you get off and you're sitting at the light and you're thinking, oh, it's really quiet now. You know, you get used to a noise and then it disappears and you notice that it's gone. That's kind of what I'm noticing here. So really what we need to do is get it on a lift, run the diff up to 80 miles an hour in 6th gear, and put a stethoscope on the wheel carrier, hub, bearing, anything we can get the probe on. So other than that, we're freaking done. It's driving beautifully. We have no codes. Engine makes power, feels strong. We did rod bearings on this thing and then transmission conversion, bunch of suspension stuff. It's been a very complicated project, but it needs a detail. The only thing we need to get on there now are the beauty covers over the coil packs and plugs. We left those off as we were diagnosing the misfires, but got the cabin boxes back today. Otherwise, today without going late, let's see, we did a bunch of work on the X5. Wheel carriers are still off. I got the bearings and the hubs, but I don't have the dust covers, which need to go on with the bearings and hubs. Those are due on Monday or Tuesday? Monday. But then I looked up the torque specs for the front control arms. The bolts have to be replaced because they're torque to yield. It's like 165 Newton meters plus 90 degrees, plus or minus 15 degrees. So between 75 and 105 degrees. I guess that's really when it started with the E53 and it's all steel control arms. They're not even aluminum, but that's when they started doing all this torque to yield shit, which is just crap. I mean, figure out what that spec is and tell me that spec. Don't give me a torque spec plus an ankle torque. It's just illogical to me. Maybe I don't understand the engineering behind it, but we're getting there. Rear axle's done today. Shocks came out. We did the upper arms. Upper arms on that's a massive pain in the ass. You have to pull the shocks out. If you have the air leveling suspension, which thank God we don't, that's even more complicated. You have to bleed the pressure out of those hydraulic lines and remove them. But for the standard coil and spring setup, we did have to remove that. So some trunk or rear hatch, I guess, disassembly today to pull those out. They're sacks. They appear to be original. They still rebound and they're not leaking. The bump stops aren't pretty, but we'll deal with shocks and struts later. This round is tie rods and bearings and the more important stuff. Nutty Barrel tonight, had a nice dinner. It's 9, it feels like midnight. So I'm going to bed. Tomorrow, Saturday, Curse Coffee. We'll talk then. Bye.